So, you've moved your family to a new place. You already know the stress that comes with it, especially when it comes to choosing a school. You want what's best, of course you do, but reality often gets in the way. Today, we're going to tackle that exact problem. How do you make a really good decision when none of the choices in front of you feel perfect?
Okay, let's just dive right in with something I like to call the perfect school trap. It's this huge gap right between the dream school we've all got pictured in our minds and the actual limited options that are really available. This right here is where so much of the anxiety for migrating families really comes from.
You know, every parent, and I mean every single one, starts this search wanting to find that one perfect school, the one where everything will just magically click into place for their kid. But what if that whole idea, that entire search for perfect, is actually the biggest thing holding you back?
And this is where the dream just collides with reality. You're not flipping through some glossy catalog of options. You're dealing with real-world stuff. Limited seats, budgets that have to stretch, visa deadlines ticking away, and maybe even a job transfer that came out of nowhere. That perfect school, it's just rarely available in the messy real world of moving.
So here's the crucial pivot. We have to completely reframe the question we're asking. Let's stop asking which school is the absolute best and start asking which school is best for my child right now with what we have that won't cause them any harm. Honestly, making that simple shift can feel incredibly liberating.
To really get why chasing perfection can be so dangerous, I want to share a quick but really powerful story with you. Think of it as a cautionary tale about what happens when we hold out for an ideal that might never even show up. So picture this, a family. Let's call them Sunil and Mira. They moved to Germany. They have 3 totally viable school options right in front of them, but they turned them all down. Why? Well, one didn't have the best facilities, another's curriculum wasn't a perfect match, and the third, well, it didn't have the ideal group of friends, so they decided to wait for something better. And what was the result of all that waiting? Their child missed an entire term of school. But it was worse than that. With no routine, no social life, their kids' social anxiety went through the roof, and their confidence just completely plummeted. They were stuck at home, isolated, just waiting for a perfect school that wasn't coming.
And this just nails the key takeaway from their story. The damage caused by the delay, all that waiting and uncertainty, was so much worse than any potential downside of choosing a less than perfect school. Eventually, they did enroll their child in one of those first schools. And you know what? The child settled in beautifully. The real enemy was never the compromise. It was the delay.
So, okay, if chasing perfection is the trap, how in the world do we get out of it? Well, we do it by embracing this really powerful idea. Good enough is actually pretty great. It's all about shifting your focus from some imaginary ideal to the practical reality of what your child needs right now. Here's the fundamental truth of it all. Your child doesn't actually need a school with a brochure-perfect reputation. During a massive life change like moving countries, what they are desperately craving is stability, a feeling of emotional safety, and just some simple continuity in their life. Just think about this contrast for a second. On one hand, you have that old mindset. You're chasing the school's reputation, the amazing facilities, the perfect syllabus. But on the other hand, you have the mindset that actually helps a kid through a tough transition, a predictable routine, teachers you can actually talk to, and a real sense of emotional safety. It's a huge switch from what looks good on paper to what feels good for your child day in and day out.
And this leads us to this really helpful concept: choosing a school that is functional now. Look, this doesn't have to be their forever school. It's the school that gets your child grounded, that protects their well-being today, and, this is crucial, it keeps your future options open. Think of it as a bridge, not necessarily the final destination.
Okay, so we've got the new mindset, but how do you actually put it into practice? Let's get to the really actionable part, a super simple framework that's going to help you make a calm, conscious decision.
This is your 8-question sanity check. Seriously, just go through this list. Is my child going to be emotionally safe here? Is the routine predictable? Are the teachers people I can actually approach? Does this choice keep our future doors open? And that last one, that one is for you. Am I making this choice calmly, or am I making it out of fear? These questions just cut through all the noise and get you focused on what really matters.
And that really brings us to the true goal of this whole process. It's not about finding the perfect building or the perfect program. It's about how you, the parent, actually make the choice.
This is so important. Your kids are watching you. They absorb your anxiety like a sponge, but they also borrow your confidence. When they see you make a calm, conscious, considered choice, even for a school that isn't perfect, they learn that everything is going to be okay.
Your calm becomes their stability. So the one crucial point, the one thing I really want you to remember long after this is over is this. Perfect schools don't raise resilient children. Calm decisions do. How you go about this matters so much more than the perfect outcome you were originally chasing. Let me just leave you with one final thought. We spend so much energy and burn so many calories looking for the best choice, the optimal choice. But what if, in this incredibly complex world of migration, the right choice for your family is simply the one that feels the calmest, the one that brings a sense of peace and stability back into your home right now? What would change for you if that were the goal?